Critical evidence destroyed in a police department evidence room because of a water leak.
After months of investigating this, our team has learned 3 employees in Missouri City were disciplined. But Micah Hatfield uncovered it wasn't the leak that was the problem.
It's what happened next.
We've been asking questions of the Missouri City Police Department ever since February, when we found out evidence affected by a water leak was thrown away, and we hadn't heard anything. So we kept requesting documents from the department and learned that this leak made waves. A civilian employee working in Missouri City Police's evidence room testified that she always handled disruptions, like rats chewing up evidence and a freezer breaking and rotting items, the same way. Letting her supervisor know and then getting rid of the destroyed evidence. She testified during an appeal of a colleague's indefinite suspension that she did the same thing when a humidifier leaked and flooded the room on October 30th, 2024. But this time, she was terminated for it. To get you caught up, a newly installed dehumidifier leaked in the Missouri City Police Department's property room on October 30th of last year. Records obtained by 13 Investigates through request to the department describe puddles of water and some of the evidence being, quote, soaked, including DNA evidence and weapons. We asked former head of the Texas Rangers, Tony Leal, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious an incident like this is in an evidence room.
If it's handled properly, and if all the proper notifications are made, and the detectives know about it, and the DA's office knows about it, and the court knows about it, it's a 3, because it's a natural disaster. It's not man. It wasn't intended by anyone. If it's not handled correctly, you make it a 6 or 7.
And based on his review of documents in the case, Leal concluded this was not handled correctly.
I'm so surprised that nobody said, we're going to have to do an investigation on this. Not unlike the investigation that was done months later.
Letters given to the employee who was terminated, an officer who was initially indefinitely suspended, which is the equivalent of being terminated, and a sergeant who was temporarily suspended, provide a narrative of what happened next, saying evidence was thrown away and proper protocols were not followed after the leak. That includes notifying the DA's office. The terminated employee assigned to the evidence room said supervisors were notified at the time of the leak, according to the decision in the appeal by the indefinitely suspended officer. The Fort Bend County DA's office found out in mid-January when they reached out to Missouri City PD asking about evidence, the DA's office confirms. According to that decision in the appeal, that's when the chief of police and other top-ranking officials actually visited the evidence room. The chief and assistant chief saying they only learned then that evidence had been destroyed. Up until that point, they were only aware that there had been a leak. Still, that decision found that, quote, no one in supervision responded to the alarm bell. That was also when employees were ultimately disciplined and when an audit was done of the property room.
Then you come to the point where, does the DA's office trust us anymore? Does the public trust us anymore?
It's now noted in documentation that the Missouri City Police Department believes the way evidence room employees handled what happened shined a bad light on them, noting in the civilian employee's termination letter that her actions, quote, damaged the reputation of the department and its employees. The officer testified in his appeal that he had asked for additional property and evidence room training and was denied. His last training was in 2021, as noted in the decision given to 13 Investigates. He ultimately won that appeal and was instead suspended for 8 days.
When you do those investigations, they show you where you're weak. They show you where your department is weak. And it shows you, you know what? We're giving this guy the day off because he didn't do this right, but we bear some responsibility here because they weren't trained right.
13 Investigates has been formally requesting information from the department since February, when we found out about the leak, because the department has refused to comment once. Most of our requests have been sent to the Attorney General's office to determine if the information had to be released, and largely, the AG's office has sided with us.
If you find something months after it happened that you should have known about, then you ask yourself, and the public asks itself, what else don't we know about?
Like I said, we reached out to the Missouri City Police Department several times since we learned about this in February. 2 weeks ago, we contacted Chief Brandon Harris to ask for an interview, and 2 days later, he announced that he was retiring effective immediately. Finally, late this afternoon, Missouri City got back to us answering the questions that we had sent over, telling us in part that the crime scene unit that oversees the property room is under new supervision and the employees are going through additional training. Plus, they hired an independent vendor to conduct annual property room inventories. As it relates to the one employee who said that she handled this situation the same as she's handled others in the past, the department says they weren't fully aware of that, which is why she had not been previously disciplined. Micah Hatfield, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.